At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
about your movie, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart, you're doing
Observations TFR 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. What's going on, people? Welcome to another great episode of Observations TFR. I'm Crazy D, and on the other screen right next to me is my special guest host, Tanya M. Congress. How are you doing this morning before we get started with the topic? I'm going to tell people smash the share button, smash the like button, because, ladies and gentlemen, amongst us are race hustlers. Amongst us are race hustlers, and we need to talk about that this morning. It's very, very, very important. So smash the share button, smash the like button, let people know that we are on. Well,
good morning, everybody. The sun is shining here in Cleveland, Ohio. There is snow on the ground, but hopefully this sun will melt most of it. To be honest with you, I'm getting very sick of this cold and snow, and we haven't even had a lot of it. It's just here when it comes, it's ridiculous. It'll snow to cover 2 weeks worth of snow. Instead of it snowing a little bit every day, it won't snow for days. And when it does snow, it'll snow 2 weeks worth of snow. And then you got to have everything plowed and pushed. You can't drive down the street and all that crazy stuff like that. And then service has changed. Actually, about 20 years ago, service changed. It used to be there was a plow that came down every side street. We don't have that anymore. Unless those streets are really bad and somebody calls, no plow is coming down the street. You just got to drive through it and hope your car can make it through it. But today I have my bowl of ginger soaking in distilled water. I have some oranges and some apple slices here. I also have my turmeric mixed with crushed ground pepper, black pepper, and a little bit of vegetable oil. And the purpose of the black pepper and vegetable oil is to improve the solubility into your system. So if any of you are dealing with joint and muscle pain and stuff like that, or just stiff joints, if you do this, one of these a day, and I always overdose everything, so I do a half a teaspoon of the turmeric, and every day you do that, and your joints will feel a lot better. And I told you I had also been taking hibiscus tea that was dealing with water retention. I told Dee this morning, 20 pounds of water weight gone. Well, how did you get 20 extra pounds of water weight, you may ask? Well, in my efforts to be healthy, I overdid it on the Beyond Meat and all of those meat substitutes that are made from vegetables. But because though they are frozen, they have to be preserved, and salt is a preservative. So I had overdid it. I was doing dishes every day with the meat, the ground meat and the ground sausage. And so I never thought to check the salt content. And then I thought to check the salt content. It was like, oh my goodness. I may as well have took out some soup and ate it. A whole can of soup is 1,400 milligrams of sodium. I may as well have been doing that. But once I found out, it put me in salt overload. So I was retaining water. And because I have diagnosis that whenever you get salt overload, the kidneys have to work harder, and your heart has to work harder to get rid of the water. So it wasn't working as fast as that I was retaining. So I had to do something to start draining it off, and I had to be very aggressive with it. So now it's down 20 pounds. I'm still about 10 pounds up on water, but I feel really great this morning. How about you? How you doing?
I'm doing as well as can be expected in a global pandemic. Now, What Tanya just described to you was something that we do on Tuesdays called Tasty Tuesdays, where we lay out vegan recipes and vegan remedies, right? She did a little early, but this Tuesday coming up for that. Because we're free here, but we are.
Oh, they clipping early.
Yeah, clipping early. Yeah.
Clipping early.
Yeah, clipping early. Anyway, welcome to everyone watching us on Periscope, Vimeo, FB, and YouTube. YouTube on the Film Review Live channel, FB on You Found the Spot, and Consciousness, Politics, Entertainment, and Females page. Make sure that you subscribe to all of that. Good morning to Stuart Elsie. He said greetings. Good morning to Tracy Trace this morning. So look, what's the topic for today? Smash the share button, smash the like button. You know, we gave you a little bit. 615 is on the line. If you're interested in chiming in on the topic, press 1 on your touch tone. That will let us know that you want to participate. If not, we realize and understand that you just want to listen. So if you want to participate and get in on the topic, press 1 on your touch tone. Oh, they want to get in on the topic. Okay. Truth Thursdays. Race hustlers. Question. How is it we still have race hustlers among us? I used to say amongst us, but they said amongst. Amongst is an old English word, and you have to say among us now. I hate that. I like the ST. Among us. During voting time, they talk where the wind blows. And what do we mean by where the wind blows? Wherever the most popular vote is going, they're trying to clip us early, right? Where their enthusiasm will go. But after elections, they complain we have to keep struggling because race hustlers, don't demand anything for the American black vote. So here's the topic. We have race hustlers amongst us. Every 4 years during election time, they get enthusiastic to vote, telling their followers or whomever will listen that American blacks need to vote to end the racism. And every 4 years, American blacks vote for the symbolic, not the tangible. This year, it's the first, quote unquote, black woman, they've been saying it on TV as of late, Jamaican, Asian black from immigrant clipping, from immigrant parents. Let's say that again. Jamaican, Asian black from immigrant parents wearing Chucks and AKA pearls. Shout out to the AKAs, right? And like always, where does the elected administration go? Straight to immigrant rights, citizenship rights. Oh yeah, they talk about American blacks in criminal justice reform. I don't know how we all became criminals. Oh, that happened during Obama. Yeah, that's right. And there is the race hustler. And there is the race hustler talking, quote unquote, substance. What should have been talked before voting, just a little too late as planned, though. It's planned to be just a little bit too late. Why are we saying that it's planned to be just a little bit too late? The phone lines are open, 213-943-3358. 213-943-3358. Stay on the line. We will get to your phone call in a second because we've got to open up the show. Smash the share button, smash the like button, comment on the YouTube, comment on the FB. We will read your comments. Also, we will take your phone calls at 213-943-3358. And as we begin, as we always begin, we begin with means. Now, what do we mean by people complaining later afterwards? Now, all throughout the election, there were different shows. Our show, Observation, hashtag Observations TFR. We told you about it. Tariq Nasheed told you about it with talking about FBA. The ADOS movement was telling you about it. Tone and Yvette was talking about it. Many other shows were talking about it, talking about the disparities that black people face and that we should be demanding something for our vote. And what do we mean by race hustlers? Race hustlers, why they come up later. This is just my opinion, but it seems to bear out. When they come up later and they are complaining about we need to do this, it's because they're not too sure that they will have a position if we are able to figure this out and get what is coming to American blacks. If we can get the reparations, where will their monetary money come from within the struggle? And what they don't realize is there will always be a struggle. So this right here, this first meme right here, comes from, and my producer, my wife, she gave me this topic yesterday. We were talking, and I said, did you know what this person wrote? These couple of different people wrote, right? But all during the time when the election was going on, oh, they're trying to clip us. Oh, they don't want people to know. All during the time when this was going on, all during the election, they were like, you got to vote, you got to vote, you got to vote, you got to vote, get out there and vote, get out there and vote. Especially people who had never voted before, who were once felons, but their rights were reinstated out here in Las Vegas, thanks to Governor Sisolak, right? And they said, vote Biden, vote Biden, vote Biden. So after they vote Biden, all of a sudden this comes across. Symbols and substance, Biden and Harris. I'm excited that the leadership has changed, but I don't want us to get so excited on the symbols that we forget we still need real substances. I don't know what substance is. What kind of real substance?
That sounds ridiculous.
Do real substances in our communities? What kind of real substances do we need? Substances. That sounds like. But anyway, it's supposed to read, we still need real substance in our communities. Okay. You know, with Harris, it's been, she's black, she's wearing the pearls, everybody's wearing the chucks. But this particular person, who will remain nameless, was all pushing vote, 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 vote. And I remember one of his partners, I was writing to one of his partners and we had a dialogue back and forth. And I was telling him, I was like, you shouldn't vote for Dude, because Dude was the reason why a lot of the people who are getting their voter rights back now were locked up in the first place. And the person told me, well, we can iron that out later. Well, Just like we warned and many other shows warned, we said they were about immigrants, and then immigrants coming in then take the jobs of those who traditionally they didn't want to work for a wage. We've talked about that before, right? So here's another meme. Here's another meme from another. I'm sure that I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, right? 213-943-3358. The lines are open now. This person writes. Now here's another person. This person was all gung-ho about the election. We got to get him out of there. We got to get him out of there. We got to get him out of there. Right? We've told you can't expel Satan with Lucifer because you pretty much got the same demon. You can't expel you can't expel racism with racism because you basically get racism, right? So this person says, I am on a Zoom call with Republican elected, former elected, and other leaders who want to hear what the needs of black people are. What are your concerns? The election was back in November, right? The Dixiecrats said that the Dixiecrats that moved from the Democrat Party that moved over to the Republican Party said that the Democrats would never take the South again because of the 64, 65, 68 Civil Rights Acts, right? You're talking to Republicans, you might as well have stuck with the outsider than the insider because they're all, guess what? They're all, just from observation, I just say my opinion, they're all bigots. So you can't deal with one racism. Why is it that you want to deal with one racism, but you don't want to deal with another racism? It's really sick. It's really sick. Okay. Here's another meme. All right. And the person writes, you can't possibly know what the people's needs are in the community when you're not a part of it. You don't support it. And you don't come out to see what's going on or who specifically needs your services. So how can you serve our community when we don't see you or labor with you strangers? That's just a meme. I just brought that up as we go along. Now, race hustlers, right? Now, what were we telling? Wow, they're really trying to clip here. What were we telling you during the whole time? Now, this comes from the readout, right? Here's a look at Biden's agenda on day one. Hashtag the readout. Here's a look at Biden's agenda on day one. Now, black women were supposed to have helped get him elected again. Blacks were supposed to have gotten him elected again, right? 213-943-3358. We'll be going to the phone line shortly. Day one, pathway to citizenship. Number one, we told you just go read his campaign. Reverse Muslim ban. That's right. Extend student loan pause. Now, who gave a student loan in the first place. A pause on student loans in the first place, right? Reverse Muslim ban. Now, let's go back to that for a minute. What have we not seen in this country? And I don't know why people are, because I'm an American, right? I'm an American black. I look out for America, number one. Number one. I look out and say, I don't want to be in the crossfire. Because like bullets, bomb paraphernalia has no name on it. No face that it's going after. It's just whoever it's supposed to go after, and then everyone else is collateral damage. What haven't we seen since the Muslim ban was in place? Oh, they're clipping us. Oh, they're clipping. We hadn't seen terrorist attacks in the country. We've seen domestic whites, you know what I'm saying? But we haven't seen Muslims, so we can expect to see that again, we can tell you. Rejoin Paris Agreement. Now, that right there is going to take away jobs, and if people were like really listening to the news, the other countries are not as strict on what they need, especially China. China is considered a developing country, and it's not even under it anyway, so they can smog and pollute, and as they smog and pollute, they're over there invading Africa. So as an American black man who is looking one day for there to be a utopia in Africa where it's 54 states in a country and not 54 countries in a continent, we would look for it not to be overrun by those who have smogged out their country, right?
Right.
Right. Let's keep going, right? So ours is the most harsh, and it's going to cut jobs. 100-day masking challenge. The 100-day masking challenge. Where'd they get that from? Facebook? No evictions, foreclosures. No evictions, no foreclosures. Stop Keystone Pipeline. Now, as far as I knew, the Keystone Pipeline was moving already, right? And when you stop oil from happening, that's when breaches start to happen in the metal, because the residue is just sitting there and it begins to create leaks. In border emergency, what looks like by ending the border emergency, he has started an emergency, because as we saw earlier in the week when we played the video, there are, oh wow, okay, there are, all right, yes, there are a lot of immigrants crashing the border, and rejoin the WHO, the World Health Organization. Those are the things that he has come across to say that he's going to do. That was day one. He had 15 different executive orders, and over the next 3 days, there's supposed to be more executive orders. But you notice what was not there? Nothing.
Reparations.
That's right. Nothing for the people who supposedly got him elected. And we know what he thinks, because he said, I can't do nothing for nothing. That's how Biden was talking when he was dazzling them girls like a pimp on the meeting that was released. The audio that was released from the meeting when he was talking to the CBC, and civil rights leaders said, I can't do nothing but what I can't do. I can't do anything with executive orders. I have to go by the Constitution. Well, he sure did come up with a lot of executive orders. Somebody did.
I want to know how it's starting to feel.
Go ahead.
I don't see how anyone of sound mind and faculty could have thought it was going to be any different. The CBC sitting up there Y'all are the face of. I just thought. I mean, you are the face of the behind. I mean, it's just like you take one big behind, flip it around from the back to the front, sit it up on the shoulders, and just have it facing forward. And this is what it is. You sitting here, we told y'all, and they made good on the word even before we said within the first 100 days. Heck, they starting in the first 10 days, letting you know, thank you very much for your vote. We knew you were going to go that way because through the means of Hegelian dialect, we imposed fear on you. And between the pandemic and the election and all of the other stuff that was going on, all of the riots with the insurrection people, the accelerationists and the anarchists, all of these distractions, we knew that it was going to steer you right where we wanted you to be. And we got your vote, and you forgot. You were so distracted by everything that was going on. You were so angry at Trump. For 15 years from now, you won't even remember why you didn't like him. Even 10 years, even 5 years, you won't remember why you didn't really like him. You won't be able to tell the difference between him as a racist and me as a racist. Thank you very much. You did that, and you didn't require anything because you were so distracted and so in fear, so pressed. How's it looking for you? How's it feel? Keep plenty of Vaseline. You're going to need it.
Look here. 213-943-3358. Listen. Let's go to this next meme right here. This is from our brother-in-law. You see, he had been sounding the alarm, during the election too, because what it is they rely on new generations coming up. Every 4 years, a new group of 18-year-olds are coming up, right? New voting generations. See, there's generations and then there's voting generations. And they realize that most of those people that are between 18 and 21 in that new group that are coming up that are really going to be able to vote, those that were 21 that weren't able to vote, because not in the general elections, not in the presidential elections, but the congressional elections, they were able to vote there. But elections, 4 years president, right? So as those people come up, they know that they don't know, but the race hustlers make sure that they don't know. And why do they make sure that they don't know? It is job security. No one from the CBC, no one from any of those race hustling organizations will even call up. Now, this is all my opinion, but I've been here long enough on the planet, seen enough elections to all that clipping to see this over and over and over and over again, right? So I've seen enough of it to know that they rely on the ignorant, right? So, which is not stupidity, it's just that you don't know. So here's our brother-in-law. There are just 6 or 17 things Biden immediately changed. Nothing really about blacks. Crying emoji with the tears. Told y'all. Blank stare emoji. That says no on equality. Let me say that again. He says that says no on equality and allowing non-citizens to have input when blacks don't. 3, laughing and crying emojis, but that does say no on rent protection, blacks. Just wait on Kamala to help blacks when she says she Asian Afro-Jamaican. She says she's Asian Afro-Jamaican. Point that part. 100%. Obama was Kenyan. What? That's right. Thumbs out. Not thumbs up. Not African American. And this is the game, people. This is the game. To never see a person from ADOS, FBA, or as we call it here, American Black, to never see that a person from that lineage ever rise to the presidency. We who come from that lineage of being people who were here and people who were part of the 388,000 that mingled in with the people that were already here to make 44 million today. Ours, by the powers that be, is not to see the higher office of the presidency. Our struggle and toil is for immigrant blacks to get what we struggle for. And we have these race hustlers that would dare say, yes, we need to vote, but then they turn around and say, oh, we're in a struggle because they're not delivering, because they know already that they wouldn't deliver, and they are disingenuous, and we have to rid ourselves of the race hustlers. Look, when we sit up here and discuss with you, we are trying to get out of this. We're trying to see an end to the disparities by those who owe us paying us what they owe us. We're not here to be talking about this 15, 20, 50 years down the line. We don't even want people to be talking about this 15, 20, 25, 50 years down the line. We want people to be talking about shows about what direction we should go next with our good fortune of finally being reimbursed for what we created. That's why we're here. The race hustler, however, is not here for that. They're there for wherever the wind blows. Then all of a sudden, they take the ideas that people like I mentioned before, our show and other shows, right, that we talk about, and then they take it and they use it afterwards and say, well, we got to have tangibles. If the person is already elected and they haven't promised you anything like they promised all the other groups, they're not giving you shit. They're not giving you shit. 213-943-3358. I noticed that the person who was on the line dropped off because once you start dropping knowledge, this isn't just talking head BS. Once you start dropping logic and knowledge down, it's hard to refute knowledge and logic. They're not going to give you shit because they said, oh, what we did was enough, and that's why you voted for us. Anyone who believes that they will give you something beforehand, will give you something afterwards, and you never got something promised, you never demanded anything. Anyone believes you're going to get something after that other than what the crumbs they want to give you, you are sadly mistaken. Good morning to Miss Ash. Good morning. Good afternoon. I see she's chimed in. Shannon Churchwell has chimed in on FB. We want to say good morning to those ladies who have come in. Now look, here's another meme. Yay! F everything about this inauguration. But Garth Brooks killed Amazing Grace, though. He killed Amazing Grace, though. The poem was dope, too. I didn't. See, people don't know. People don't know. Babyface and Garth Brooks produced the Alter Ego album for Garth Brooks. I forget the name of his alter ego, but he produced the Alter Ego, right, album for Garth Brooks, and it was this R&B song that Babyface could have gave to Tony Braxton, right, instead of giving it to, in my opinion, sellout Garth Brooks. He had a totally different look. He was a white boy looking like from out of a boy band,
Chris Gaines.
right? Okay, yeah, you got it, right? He had a different look.
Yeah.
And it was a hit record they had, right? And he sold out from the project after it was released and the promotion was about to go, because he said his fans were not going to look kindly upon it. And it was the jam. It had a jam record. I know Babyface was just totally outdone because he could have given that record to someone else. So Garth Brooks gets no shine this way, because when you strike at one American black, then you're striking at us all. When you strike at one American black, you are striking at us all. Here's a meme to break the monotony. Delete my number, okay? Delete my number, okay? That's Diamond and Silk. And he said, delete my number, okay? That's hilarious for those who know who Diamond and Silk is, right? That's hilarious. Hilarious. Okay, let's keep moving here. All right. We've seen this meme before, but the words have been changed to fit what we're going through right now. Smash the share button, smash the like button. 213-943-3358. I want to see the CBC. I want to see those race hustlers call up and justify what you're doing, or those who believe that we are on the right track and that we have not been duped again after the first day of executive orders that had nothing to do with American blacks. Okay. So this meme reads, as the face is being put on the clown, which clowns were the white people making fun of black people who were vagabonds on the trains. That's what that was, if you didn't know. We have got to end systematic racism. Put on your white face. Joe Biden wrote the laws used to enable the systematic racism start to apply the makeup. Kamala Harris enforced those laws on minorities. Put on the bozo wig. And last, that's why I have to vote for the Democrats. They will end systematic racism, because Joe Biden, without being asked to correct his wrong, and Kamala Harris not asked to correct her wrong using those very same laws, will somehow end systematic racism that they profited from and or created. Put on the clown face. Put on your clown face. You are really talking something. That is pure race hustler. Right? Now, this one comes from Tariq Nasheed, and the image is hilarious. It's of Boule Bird, right? That's what he calls him, Boule Bird. But we're going to click this right here. Let's see. Shannon Churchwell says, Churchwell says, first she says morning, and then she says, it is embarrassing. Yes, it is embarrassing. Every 4 years, the race hustlers somehow take control of the conversation, and then later they can then go out and get grants and all kinds of others to say that they're helping the community. The only way that you can help the community right now is to help them get out of the condition that the community is in. Getting food, that's good. That's good. Don't get me wrong. The Panthers were doing that back in the 60s. How long was the 1960s? How long ago was that? We're in 2021. We're in 2021. We should be talking about uplifting our people out, but when you are a race hustler, you're not about your people being raised up and out. You might get raised up and out, but your people, the people that you say that you service, it's not good for you if they are raised up and out. Look at this picture right here. This this is one of the Divine Nine. Oh man, my head is in the wrong place. I don't. Oh man, is there a wrong place? Is there a wrong place these days? Blowfly. This is
right.
Boule Bird, right? This is Boule Bird. So look, Tariq Nasheed says, right under here, this is hilarious, right? Ladies and gentlemen, this one picture sums up the next 4 years for American blacks. You know who this is, right? That's that talk show host who used to be on TV One, all right? And now he stands up here with these. I don't know what's happening. I just wouldn't have shot. I wouldn't have posed. No, that's just not something I would have.
You don't think that's photoshopped?
No, that's the real thing. That's the real thing. It's a haze. No Photoshop. You can't. One thing about Tyreek, he doesn't deal with Photoshop photos. This is really what's happening out there. Now, let's look at Martin Luther King. A lot of people claim Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King graduated college when he was 16 years old, went on to divinity school, got his divinity. He was the youngest pastor going in his 20s. Why he had what you would call, I'm going to use this word, progressive ideas that the older pastors didn't, and he died early at 39 years of age. If you do not have a degree at 16 and went through divinity school, so there's many different levels of getting the collar. There's the ones who went through divinity school, and then there's people who open up their own school through their own churches to get ministers, and then those people get it. Not to say that they don't study the Bible, but there are certain tenets that are taught in divinity school that are not taught in, I'm going to call it ministry school. There are certain tenets that are not taught, right? The collar, when you come through divinity school, the collar represents a bullseye. You're not supposed to go against the state because the state is teaching it a certain way. So when you see different denominations, it might be 2 weeks apart, but they're getting the same teachings. Might be a month apart, but they get the same teachings from out the Bible because the state is controlling. So why did Martin Luther King get his throat shot out? he went against the teachings that are supposed to be put forth by those who have been in divinity. And you have to look that up and search that for yourself, right? Smash the share button, smash the like button. We are going places today. These race hustlers have to be moved out the way, or fly right and be about getting your people out of the situation, not leaving your people in the situation while you advance. Over here, we disseminate information. We call balls and strikes. And this, what we saw, what we're seeing develop, is a travesty. It is a disgrace, and it is purposefully done by the race hustlers. What did Martin Luther King have to say? Never, never be afraid to do what's right, especially if the well-being of a person or animal is at stake. Society's punishments are small compared to the wounds we inflict on our soul when we look the other way. And we could not look the other way. This is a show about not looking the other way, but observing and bringing those observations to light so that people will have a better understanding, middle standing, and overstanding. Now, remember, Kamala Harris. Kamala, I'm going to be nice. Kamala Harris is not American black. She is Afro, as our brother-in-law said, Afro-Asian Jamaican. Right? So why are the American black females taking now after Kamala? They need to wear their chucks and their pearls. Now these are older women with daughters, like in their 30s, right? Influencing their daughters, right? There's nothing wrong with being an AKA, but don't be influenced by, you know who's going to make a lot. Do you have stock in Chuck Taylors? Find out if Chuck Taylor is on. What Chuck Taylor? Do you have stock in Chuck Taylor? Because as long as all these people are buying Chucks, you know what I mean? And the Chucks are hard on the feet.
They are horrible.
Hard on the feet. You know what I mean? As long as all these people, all of us are going to be investing in Chucks. Well, not investing, spending our money, because when they break down, they break down. We should invest in Chuck Taylor Corporation on the stock market. Everything that we use, the pearls, right? The fake pearls or the real pearls. We need to find out what companies make the fake pearls and what makes the real pearls, and we need to invest, because that's going to be a landslide, because we as American blacks are a small nation when it comes to spending money, but when it comes to investing, not too much. So we have something else symbolic. Oh, they're clipping us. Symbolic to look up to, but nothing of, as the person wrote, substance, or as Tariq Nasheed says, tangible. Now, if you read, for those who want to be Martin Luther King, maybe you should read Martin Luther King's last book. You should read Martin Luther King's last book. It's entitled, Where Do We Go From Here? And basically Martin Luther King he states that we don't move until we don't move on other people's things until we have true alliance from those people on our thing. We've been doing other people forever, going along with everything, fighting their fight. Then they get over here and they treat us like third, fourth class citizens, which is always the plan. So the only thing that we have not done is stick with each other. Let me know. 213-943-3358. I want to talk to those people who want to go back to Africa. Let me talk to you that. Tell me your plan about going back to Africa. You're going back to Africa. You're going back to Africa to what? I mean, I just need to know, because when you get over there, they'll say, you're American black. You don't have the money like the European does. 213-943-3358. Miss Ash says they hurt your feet and $0 a pair for Chucks under Nike. Did you find something, Tanya? Did you find
Yes,
something?
I did.
Okay, go ahead.
I did. Chuck Taylor's falls under Nike, because Chuck Taylor's are Converses, but Nike bought Converse under their Class B brand. So right now that brand is going for $141.91 a share, and the Chuck Taylors fall under that with a few other brands, but yeah, it's $141.92 a share. So they're doing good. If you can afford that price point per share and get you at least one, I mean, now that it's a popular thing, you would want to be in on it. That's the name of the game as far as stocks. Keep your ears open on our shows, because even if it's not our Stock Wednesday show, we're still throwing stuff out there that you can catch and go and look it up for yourself, just staying proactive.
That's right. Stay proactive, because as long as we're going to be duped, we might, whatever may hurt or help you, you should have stock in. Now, Joe Biden. Every time I see Joe Biden, and I'm sure people are confused, I think of Joe Button. But anyway, Joe Biden is the white moderate described in MLK's letter from the Birmingham jail. Joe Biden is the white moderate described in MLK's letter from the Birmingham jail. Now, what is the white moderate that Martin Luther King is talking about? The white moderate that says, why it's too soon. Everything is moving. You don't have to keep trying to push so fast. It's nothing that we can do, but it's just gonna naturally change. That's the white moderate, and that's Joe Biden. He told you, he said it right there in the meeting. It's not, I can't do anything by the Constitution. And Joe Biden is right. By the Constitution, he can. He could, but it would be all kinds. Just think if he really tried to implement reparations by an executive order, there's going to be legal challenges, but there would be major legal challenges on that. You will see people coming out the woodwork. If they were upset about the 1619 project, right, then you know that they would be upset with that. Not because they're just trying to keep you down. They're used to what is on paper. So you have to change what's on paper first to then get that executive order. You have to change what is on paper first, and until we push for that, we won't see it. Until we push for that, we won't see it. Miss Ash says $70 a pair for high tops, right? Okay. Can we stop saying in 2021 that MLK died for freedom? MLK was murdered in cold blood. He didn't die of natural causes. Someone executed him. The fall guy took the heat, but it was a calculated murder. It was a calculated murder with several bodies attached. Now, what do they mean by several bodies attached? When you do your research, when Martin Luther King bought it, certain black leaders in England bought it. Certain black leaders in various African countries bought it. That's what you find, that the movement the global movement was stifled, and that was really the last time Pan-Africanism actually existed. So 213-943-3358, we're going to open up the phone lines if people would be so brave to call in and give their opinions on these things. 213-943-3358. 213-943-3358. Now, Tariq Nasheed, he gets usually it's Boyce. You know, politics make strange bedfellows, but this time it is Tariq Nasheed up on the show. And what does Tariq Nasheed say? All right, now these are all people, I'm using people who were sounding the alarm before that are not race hustlers. Race hustlers have no other way, in my opinion, to make income unless there are people who are downtrodden that they can so-called, quote-unquote, speak for. Race hustlers. Tariq Nasheed. While Black Twitter is doing goofy ass symbolic nonsense like wearing pearls and high-fiving each other over Michelle Obama's outfit, undocumented immigrants are at the border right now doing the Birdman hand rub, ready to get all the tangibles that Biden promised them and not you. But of course, you wanted to feel good, and some of us wanted to feel good. Some of us wanted to feel good, and when we said, go over there and just read what he said. TIN number, driver's license, guaranteed job, guaranteed health care, right to vote for an immigrant, the set-asides that was set aside for us. We told you that all last year. Undocumented immigrants are at the border right now doing the Birdman hand rub, ready to get all the tangibles that Biden promised them and not you.
You want to know what's so sad about that? Is that that's one of the things out of all the rhetoric and everything that's come out of Biden's mouth. You haven't even heard him mention anything about set-asides for the American black. You know why? Because nobody ever said nothing to him about it. All of those people who have access to his ear, or thought they did, including, I don't care, whatever this AME minister was for 30 years that you've been a friend with. Whatever. I don't know what significance that has. But nobody has said anything about the set-asides. So it hasn't even been brought up, except in the context of these immigrants. And like I said before, because I know y'all get all in your feelings about everybody else's causes except ours. But like I said before, I understand people want to come here, and this is the land of opportunity and so-called American dream and whatever, coming here. So I understand wanting to get here when you're in an impoverished country that doesn't care about you or whatever. But I mean, welcome to the club. So they feel it's okay to come to a country where you have a people already here. So we're a pre-existing condition We've been here and we're not being taken care of. And you're okay coming here because you watch how these people get down. So you okay coming here and just, allowing them to give you what belongs to us. And so what this is going to set off is going to set off multiple types of things. And this is why we keep on encouraging you, sit back and stay out the way. Don't engage in places where, don't engage in wars where there are no spoils. Now, if there were going to be any spoils, we should have said something before. Don't let hindsight be 2020. And now you upset because we told you were going to be upset. We told you this was the surest prophecy you ever got in your life. We told you were going to be upset. We told you it was going to be within the first 100 days, you was going to be upset. We told you. And now that it's happening, don't backpedal. Now it's nothing to backpedal to. You jumped off the cliff by doing nothing. You let them just push you off the cliff. You didn't even have brakes on your wheelchair. The wheelchair's got brakes. You didn't even have the brakes on. They pushed you, they just rolled you off the cliff. And so don't get mad now. Now you got to take it. You got to take it. But those of us who was not with that in the first place, we still have a leg to stand on if we don't do nothing but pull together and do what we need to do for us. And don't be trying to come slide in. I see, I'm one of them people. I'm one of those people. Now I'm just like that, and I don't care what nobody thinks about it. If you haven't been there to put in the elbow grease, and then but you want to slide in on the benefit, not here. I got ego eyes. I'd be like, wait a minute, you wasn't there in that meeting. You wasn't there when we was doing that. Out of here. Get them out of here. They wasn't there.
Race hustlers, 213-943-3358. I guess they don't want to call up it because when you start speaking and kicking knowledge, it's not just they don't have anything for. Here we go. The youngest poet laureate. I thought she was a teenager because she looks so young, but she's 22. I remember 22. I remember looking that young though. But anyway, there is always light if only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it. Amanda Gorman, the youngest poet laureate in the U.S. right now, right? She is in the vein, in the tradition of Maya Angelou. And I will tell you, not to say anything obtuse or negative about the young woman, but you should watch Maya Angelou's documentary, and it may open your eyes. Like when we watched her documentary and we watched the other, not Pam Grier. I'm thinking about Pam Grier. Pam Grier was just the actress. I can't think. She's slipped. Angela Davis. When we watched her documentary, produced by Jay-Z film company, you may get a new understanding or a new viewpoint on both of those individuals when you watch their documentaries, and that's what I'll say about that. All right, here we go. I want y'all to see that for a minute. Just sit for a minute. You see he's got the thinking man's emoji, and at the bottom it's like, what emoji? Okay. If a black man who was president 4 to 8 years couldn't help niggas, what makes y'all think a black woman who married to a white man will? We're going to let that sit for a minute because Here's another question to the ladies out there. 213-943-3358. How many of you secretly want to be just like Kamala and you want to have that white man on your arm? Call up. Let's talk about it. 213-943-3358. How many of you are secretly like Kamala and want to have that white man on your arm? Maybe it's the whole thing. Maybe you want the chucks, the pearls, and you want the Caucasian. So this doesn't mean anything to you. You say, I don't care long as I get mine. You gotta get mine. You gotta get yours. I gotta get mine. You gotta get yours. MC Breed and Tupac. Get yours. Got my mind on my money. Money on my mind, right? Tupac's lines, right? Go listen to that record. Maybe that's what some of us are about, right? Maybe that's what some of us are about. Let's see. Let's go to the next meme here. All right. This one is a little comic relief from the original DJ Holiday. The original DJ Holiday from New York, Dwayne Wilson, and he writes, will Biden's cabinet be known as the JBs? Laughing out loud. Will they be known as the JBs? What you gotta say to that?
That's funny. For those of you who don't know, some of you younger people, you may not know that the JBs is the name of James Brown's horn section. They had Maceo Parker and a few other people in there. So that is a loaded, as short of a statement and as sarcastic as it is, it's loaded because there's so much you can get out of it, because you can look at it that Biden will be doing a show, and he'll be doing a show in that vernacular that he tries to talk in, that when he's talking to black people, he changes his mask and tone of voice and the way he speaks. And so his side show, his side henchman would be the JBs. Oh, this is getting funnier by the day. The more I see this stuff, it's getting funnier and funnier. And I told y'all, I got my popcorn. I got me a good supply of popcorn. Oh, Lord. Woo.
Stuart Elsie says, finger on my trigger, and word had my 9. MC Bree from Flint Town. That's right. R.I.P. MC Bree. You know, MC Bree had that jam. He had that jam, like that Tupac jam. He had a lot of jams, right? But he had that one, I'm tight. For the moment, I'm funky and I'm tired. That used to be the jam. I mean, it's the way you used to be able to cut it. Oh. Right? It was cold. It was cold, but I'm tight. MC Bree, right? Shout out to MC Bree. Thanks for that, Stu. Listen. Now, you know what would have been crazy if there was no COVID and they had the little first dance, and then all of a sudden, because Caucasians do line dances too, like the achy breaky heart. But what if Biden and his wife was standing on the floor, and then everybody came out there to do the next song, and they went, it's the JB's monorail. They all of a sudden, everybody would be at home. Everybody say, that's our man, JB's monorail. And they do the long version, they import it for yeah, that's JB. Joe Biden's monorail. They rename it. They won't be James Brown anymore. James Brown's back, but it'd be Joe Biden's monorail. Joe Biden's monorail. Symbolism.
See why you playing. See why you playing. Kamala's probably showing them how to do that right now while you playing.
Stewart said, Stu said, ain't no future in his front was his biggest hit. Yeah, but he had this beat, not B-side, but it was a record that was like a hood record. And it was like, I'm tired of nothing with the way up shit. Picture this. Dun, dun, dun. It was using Parliament. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. And oh man, people used to jam at the parties with that. You know, I DJ'd, you know, I used to make mixtapes and go up to Gordon Park. And, you know, that was the hood park, so you had to have to write music for them, take the music up there. So, you know, the music that I mixed on the cassettes, I mixed at the parties. You know what I mean? Made me, you know, true, right? What you got to say?
And this is still funny to me, the Joe Biden monorail. You know, while you playing, they probably are learning that. They're gonna incorporate that at some event, because while they keep on, and see, after a while, y'all should be insulted by this stuff. You should be insulted when you're approached with things that have come out of your culture just to win your affection. Because if they win your affection, you constantly make the misjudgment that people are going to do things in good faith because they seem to be identifying with certain insignificant parts of your culture.
Well, they're not really insignificant. They're important to our culture, but they're using it to pull on your heartstring, right? So they're not insignificant. It's significant enough to be insignificant to them to use it against you. And that's where the race hustler comes in, because they know that it is happening and they go right along with it, right?
Yes.
Now remember now, as I remember, Alfalfa used to sing. The object of my affection can change my complexion from white to rosy red. Every time she holds my hand, I pray that she's mine, she's mine, she's mine, oh mine. The object of their affection is white. They don't say, the object of my affection can change my complexion from brown to beautiful black. Every time she holds my hand, I pray that she's mine, she's mine. The object of their affection is not you. They've already told you. That song on its face, it's a nice melody. It's a nice melody. Alfalfa sung it, and then in the 1930s it was a big pop hit by the guy who made it. And I researched it, but listening to the lyrics of the song, it is racist on its face because it excludes a group of people who most likely would not turn red. It's racist. It's like white bread, white milk, white fence, white sugar, white salt. Right? And so, I mean, we have to deprogram. Speaking of people who need to be deprogrammed, you have to deprogram and then reprogram by having the reality of this. The object of my affection can change my complexion from white to big red, not from brown to beautiful black. See, brown to beautiful black sounds better, rolls better. Brown to beautiful black, it's alliteration. From brown to beautiful black, every time she holds my hand, I say that she's mine, she's mine, she's mine, all mine. They already told you what their object of affection is, not you. All right.
You know what?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
You know what? You have very good intonation. I know you just be playing around, but I'm serious. You have very good intonation in between intervals, and that's not shabby, you know. But this the object of my affection is to change my complexion, or to change your complexion, change my complexion. But I'm gonna play devil's advocate here for just 1 second, and I'm getting ready now. I am I'm a black person who has been on the wrong side of things this whole time, and my question for you is, what do you hope to gain with all of this? I mean, we're never gonna get anywhere discussing these things, and I mean, why do you have to say so much about white? I mean, what's the point there? That's not going to get us anywhere.
My question back to you first is, why don't you want to say anything about white? Let's start there. Let's bounce. Since we're doing devil's advocate, let's bounce back and forth. So why don't you want to say anything about white? I need to know.
Well, we know, lately it's been a discussion of white fragility and things like that. And we know that sometimes if you cause discomfort in the life of a person or in their thought processes, we want them to be less intimidated by us. And so we want to be non-threatening and things like that. I think that would serve us better for them to see us as non-threatening. And that way they could be more amicable to the things that we would request of them if they don't feel threatened.
Well, throughout history, there's people who thought like that, and we're right where we're at right now. My question is, my question to you, devil's advocate. If you have a grasp of history, these little questions don't mean that's not shit. Okay, look. So let me ask you a question, right? Speaking of discomfort, right? There's a group of people who have been constantly under a state of discomfort, right? No one seems to care. So my question to you is, why is your thought process towards making a group of people who made your people uncomfortable, why are you wanting to make their life comfortable like it's not already comfortable already? Is the object of your affection, does their complexion change from white to beautiful red? Is that the object of your affection? Is that why you act and talk the way you act? 213-943-3358. Because I would say yes. So come on over for once, over to the home team. Get with the home team and work and do something that we have never done. We've tried the appeasement route. We've tried to be less so-called threatening. And you know what it got us? It got us right here with every 2 weeks, another black man or another black woman shot down by the police. So tell me, is your object of your affection is towards Caucasians, and maybe you should be in the house, or maybe you want to be in the house. Is that it?
Well, the thing is, I had to learn how to play the game. And what's worked for me is being able to see sometimes when you have to assimilate into a situation, if they're the ruling class, you have to learn how to assimilate into the situation in order to get the things that you need to take back out to your people. And what I'm saying is, I believe that the conversations could grow broader if we're able to assimilate rather than to always look like we want to lock horns with everything all the time. I mean, we have enough going on. We need some peace.
Okay, so while we're assimilating, they're letting in 11. I mean, they're making sure that people have citizenship in 8 years instead of 13. 11 million uh, dreamers, uh, 500 million, 500,000 uh, immigrants a year, refugees, excuse me. And don't forget about the 500,000 Indians that are coming here. So as you're assimilating in, they are bringing a buffer class like they traditionally do in history to stymie the group that they want to put at the bottom. So while you're assimilating in, next time your boss won't be a white man that you're trying to assimilate in with. It will be an Indian man from India that really doesn't speak good English that you probably trained, that is now your boss, and now you're trying to assimilate in with him. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan once had a speech where he said, you know, a chameleon can change his color. You put him on a green background, he'll change to green. Put him on red, change to red. You put him on plaid, and he won't know what to do. When it's time for the assimilation, you'll have to assimilate with them. What you're going to be doing? Try to fit in while they're using the rules of engagement that the Caucasians did. How's that assimilation doing for you now?
I don't know. I mean, clearly there's some things that have to be adjusted. I mean, I can see a little bit, but I don't see where the benefit is in making them be insulted. That's not going to open up and keep the channels of communication open, at least to insult them.
Oh, well, we've been insulted and the channels are always open. We're insulted every day. Assaulted, insulted, undersalted, and the communications stay open every day. Let's move on. Tariq Nasheed up again. Oh no, I already said that. Fine. Yeah. Showed up the immigration. No. Okay. Here we go. Biden and Kamala are going to fast track policies that will devastate foundational black American black society. But black Twitter is on here celebrating because Michelle Obama showed up to the inauguration dressed like Nick Fury.
Oh my God, I can't with these memes, but they were right. Oh, wait a minute. Oh boy. Speaking of that,
here's another look at it real quick. Here's another look at the Nick Fury outfit. When he said that, I almost fell out my chair because I was like, that is true. Samuel Jackson being that one piece with the cinch belt on. And she had the mask on too. And I was like, oh man, assault from the Rangers. I mean, like, the Rangers from the dust. I mean, like, wow. The object of my affection.
That was funny. But I saw a meme, not a meme, a post today, and it was somebody I knew, and they posted this, and they had a picture of Kamala Harris and said, on the backs of slaves, she, she's in and on the backs of slaves. So I guess a part of history. And I was just like, man, that's not even, uh, that's a break now, maybe in her people's history. They can write that in like that, but they're not gonna be. You can't write that into our history. You can't write it in.
Well, actually, in a way, they're right, Tanya. You want to know how they're right? Because she did come in on the backs of slaves, because what is the only legal slavery by the Constitution?
That's
Someone who has
right,
been
Black American.
convicted by a duly convicted of a crime in a court of law. Thus, then you are re-enslaved or enslaved.
Okay.
And so there you have it. So, in actuality, her record as an AG and a district attorney and an AG, she did get into office off the backs of slaves. Miss Ash said, laughing my butt off. Nick Fury, Tracy Trace, crying emojis turned sideways face. Amazing. Yes. Now, here's a flashback for people who are in Generation X and before, right? This is something that you would know, right? And one of these, I believe my sister is really familiar with, because I was very familiar with this elixir. This elixir, when mixed with water, would knock the shit out of a cold or the flu or whatever you had. Do you remember any of these products?
Yes, sir.
Right. Y'all don't know nothing about this. They cured everything. Now, I don't know about 3 out of the 4, but I can tell you, 666 preparation, I'm telling you, it looked like piss.
It sure did. It sure did, and was. I don't care, cold water, warm water. It was the nastiest. I don't know if I don't know what piss tastes like, but if it was anything that I can imagine that piss tastes like, that tastes like it.
I was about to say, if it wasn't piss, it wasn't that far away from what you would imagine the taste of piss was. Okay, it was horrible, and that's where I developed a way of taking something down without letting my taste buds taste it. I developed that,
me too.
and I can take it down without the taste buds tasting it, right? And then it'd be down there. It might have a little aftertaste in the back of my throat, but it's gone. But since then, they wanted to make 666 preparation better. I don't know what they were thinking, but they turned it into this orange concoction that rolled into the little 2-liter cup that they provided, like NyQuil. And I remember I had a real bad cold back when we were in Cleveland, because you can get those because the winters. Anyway, lake effect. I'm telling you. So I said, I'm going to the store. I'm gonna give me some 666. I know what's gonna do it. They're gonna knock it out. I'm gonna knock it out. It's gonna taste like. It's gonna look like piss. It's gonna taste worse than piss. But I'm gonna take this. I went to the store and I said, and I picked it. I said, they got it on the shelf. We went over to Walgreens. I said, they got it on the shelf. 666. I didn't even know they still made it. Got it home. It was some orange concoction, and I took it, and it did nothing. I said, well, that's the end of 666 altogether. To me, it didn't work. Maybe for the new generation, maybe it knocks something out. But they need to go back to the old formula because that stuff knocks out. I bet you that stuff would knock COVID out. Bet you it would. It'd be like this. Like, you're knocking that out. But anyway, let's see. Stuart Elsie said, is there any way you can put the pictures in front of you temporarily full screen so we can read them? Not in the way that I have them, That's why we put them behind, and then we do the reading and things. But I hear what you're saying, and I would take that into suggestion, right? So
read the other three.
Oh, the other three. What are the other three? I didn't know.
Fletcher's, which is basically castor oil.
Okay.
Father John's.
Father John's. I've heard of Father John's, but not that. And then
Father John's and Black Drought. Now, boy, that sounds interesting.
That
Syrup of Black Drought. Ooh, that sounds like that'll knock out something too. Syrup of Black Drought, a laxative. Ooh, I bet you milk and magnesia don't have nothing on that.
Okay.
Let me see what's in it. I'm gonna see what's in that.
Yeah, find out what's in there. See if that still exists even, right? Now, so let's go back to one meme earlier, right? Let me zoom this down. Now, remember we said you can't, expel Satan with Lucifer because you're basically getting the same demon. You can't think that racism is going to expel racism. If you voted and you thought that Biden was the end of racism, you're going to find out how ingrained racism really is. Right? So, remember at the top, we started with this meme, well, the second meme we started out. I am on a Zoom call with Republican elected, former elected, and other leaders who want to hear what the needs of black people are. What are your concerns? And do you know that people actually responded to this? Right? Meanwhile, the person who you thought, now remember, we've already established that things are racist. So the person who you thought was racist did things like this. Trump releases pot prisoners jailed for life under Biden's 1994 crime bill. Trump releases pot prisoners jailed for life for pot, for weed, for marijuana, for cannabis. For life under Biden's 1994 crime bill. If it wasn't for Donald Trump moving ahead of everyone else, going beyond what most politicians would do, most of these guys, most of the people who were in for those long prison sentences wouldn't even be out now, because all Obama proposed under Biden, and as Biden is vice president, under his advice, was reducing of sentences, not release from long sentences after already doing 25. Release, no. You would get reduced if you had life and you've done 25, they'll lower it down to 35. You still got to do 10 more years. So we're going to be interested to see what Joe Biden's criminal justice reform is going to look like, because he's supposed to be signing that today. So everybody should be tuned in to really find out what that's really about. All right. This one, everyone who has been speaking on this, I'm pulling up memes of people who have been speaking on this, which I don't understand. I don't understand the race hustlers. Notable exception. Hashtag No-Toe Joe. Notable exception, right? Biden providing tangibles to immigrants within the first 100 days, yet black people get nothing. Every voting bloc in this country gets paid intangibles for their vote, except fundamental black Americans, American blacks, ADOS. How about setting my people free from that wretched crime bill? 30 years. Oh, that wretched crime bill. 30 years. 213-943-3358. I guess the person who originally called up, when the logic started coming down, I said, well, we don't have anything for that. We noticed we used to get a lot of phone calls early on in the beginning when they thought that we were just going to be talking heads. You remember that time? Remember how they would call up and then we would tell them, no, we're not here for the talking points. We need you to really kick something. Kick something outside of the talking point. Tell us something outside of your talking point. If you're a white nationalist, talk something outside of your talking point. Let's hear your real soul. Same thing with those who work for organization. We offer the CBC all the time. We offer the Al Sharpton. We offer so many. And when they start to listen to what we say, it's not something where you can be on CNN and be a talking head. We're going to listen to what you say and we're going to dialogue with you and let the audience decide. We're not going to argue with you. We're going to discuss. But we need to know what's in your heart outside of those talking points. So what do you have to say before we get to the last meme of the show?
You know what's funny? They used to call in and they try to, there's a modus operandi of obtaining conversion of an individual. And it's the same kind of modus operandi across the board, whether you're dealing with religious, in a religious context, political context, or whatever. You first begin your dialogue with what is common to you, or in a way that seems like it's going to be friendly, like a friendlier type conversation, or like a likeness of things type conversation. Then they subtly start to introduce their rhetoric into the line of dialogue. And so I think they clearly found out that this is not, we are not the ones for that, because you're going to come, we waiting on you. We waiting on you. Both of us leaning back in our chair. We listening. You're entitled to, and in all honesty, we invite you to call in the show and share your opinion, because we're sharing our opinions and our views, but this is our show. So what happens is they call in and then they begin to introduce their dialogue, subtly introduce it. So we go from sitting back in the chair to raising up in the chair, because now we're going to have to help you out a little bit, because you didn't call it the wrong show. Because you didn't call the dialogue and have meaningful dialogue. You called to introduce and advertise your rhetoric. So that's not what we do here. Now, this meme, we told y'all that, though. We told you. And I got to have my Mad Mountain Lion on here sometime this week. Maybe you can have it tucked in the corner for me tomorrow. The Mad Mountain Lion, you have to see it. It totally embodies the whole thing, and how you looking at us and how you looking at the situation. You sitting there mad because you didn't have, come on. Are you going to give away something that people didn't ask for if you don't have a heart for them? If you don't have a heart to give, then are you going to actually give something that you don't want to give to someone, especially if they don't ask you? We didn't even ask. And in fact, this is not asking time. We've been asking by our attitude and not being revolutionary and violent. Now, this is a demand, and we're not asking you for nothing. It's as if you stole our stuff, and now you're not giving it back. You don't go, even though I wasn't in agreement with OJ, OJ personally went to get his stuff back. And he wasn't asking. He went in to get it back. So it's not that we're not asking. We're not coming with our hats in our hand like paupers, begging for something that doesn't belong to us or begging for a piece of something. This ownership is in our blood, sweat, and tears. So you withholding it is a crime. That should be what's considered a crime. Where are the prosecutions for that crime? Where are the prosecutions for it? Where's the prosecutions for a type of fear that you're speculating and you're able to act on those fears and withhold something that's due? Where's the prosecutions for that?
Race hustlers. We have to eliminate race hustlers from out of our midst. They will go along with the flow and then afterwards start to complain, but they knew in the front that there would be a complaint that's called job security. Meanwhile, it's on the backs of those who are unknowingly, unwittingly being used by race hustlers. And again, on this show, we come to talk about it, to get it done so we can move on and talk about other situations. We don't want people to have to be talking about this 15, 25, 50 years down the road. If people are talking about this 15 years, 25 years, 50 years down the road, it will be a disgrace. It only took the Jewish people 95 years between World War I and World War II, the beginning of World War I and the end of World War II, to receive Jerusalem with United Nations protection after the British pulled out. It's the same that American blacks need. And those in the other countries, Jamaicans, they should do that with protection. Guaranteed, not turning back, with protection. We're supposed to be a protected class because of what was done to us. But instead, all the protection and the set-asides are given to other groups of people. The old game that Martin Luther King, what does Martin Luther King tell us every show? Martin Luther King to us is not just Martin Luther King Day. We play Martin Luther King every morning. And what does Martin Luther King say?
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, Today, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
And now, what are they doing? What are they doing now? They are now bringing in the next group of immigrants to be on top of us, to give those same type of set-asides, and we're still going to be there believing that our vote is most important. And we told you, because of the amount and the number of people they are bringing in, they're going to say, oh, you don't want to vote? Don't worry about it. We've got these people to take your place. And we try to tell you. We try to tell you, because all of these whites that are in this country are immigrants that came in after 1619, after 1776, right? And so they had a voting bloc that was larger than the American black voting bloc, but then when they wanted to use you to get over, now they're bringing in another group of people to be a larger voting bloc than you, and we won't need you, which brings us to our last meme of the day, which came from J. Cole. J. Smooth, right? J. Glover is his name. And back when Trump was elected, he said that he wrote this: me ignoring y'all's new president for the next 4 years. And he brought it back to life. He brought it back up to say, with the election of Biden, me ignoring y'all's new president for the next 4 years. People. At this point, I mean, the information is put out there. It's easy to research. Get you some stock in some chucks, some of those fake pearls or real pearls. Get some stock in that commodity, right? Because it's going to surge on the backs of the slaves. It's going to surge on the backs of the slaves. Tanya, look up African American spending power as a nation. I think that's what it'll come up under. And we're a certain nation, we're a certain number that will be a nation, and we're worth a certain amount of money spending power. So thus you should invest, because there's going to be a boom in chucks and pearls and pink and green things, I think. Do you see it?
This is related to Nielsen. Hold on.
Yeah, we're looking for, as a nation, spending power. We're like a small nation in spending power, but it's like $1 billion in spending power, but the investment power is not there, and that's why we try to push it. We have to push this through.
So buying oh no, that's not it either. Hold on.
Yeah, we're looking for the spending. Well, buying spending power. We buy, and we will be a certain amount, or give us the amount of what we spend a year, right? What's spent a year by American blacks, right? That's what we're looking for, right? As we close out the show.
Let's see.
Don't tell me they hid that. That used to be that would easily pop up. Or maybe not now.
Well, they have it. They say they have Nielsen report puts black buying power at 1.2. Wait a minute. 1.2 trillion.
We went from billion to trillion. What is it again?
1.2 trillion.
1.2 trillion. So put $1.2 trillion would be the gross national product for what size country? And then that would give us the answer. It's got to go two different ways to get it. 1.2 trillion would be the spending power for what size gross national product for what size country? And then that'll give us the answer. 1.2 trillion. You should be getting some of that 1.2 trillion back in the stocks, in the commodities. You know what I mean? I mean, that is just incredible. We are keeping this engine going. And while we're keeping the engine going, they are helping people who are sending back $38.7 billion back to their people at home over the border. But we're spending 1.2 trillion and they're looking down on us, trying to make us third, fourth class citizens. And while they're doing that, we're still spending. You see it? See what it is?
Okay, it gave me 4 countries that ran in that range, which was Australia, Russia, Spain, and Mexico. The population of Australia is 25.36 million. The population of Russia is 144.4 million. The population of Spain is 46.94 million. And then the population of Mexico, let's see, 127.6 million. So probably on the average around 100 and a little over 100 million people is the population. So what is our population? Population. How come it gives me that in a percentage and not in the, okay.
Well, actually, you got it?
Wait a minute.
We're 42 million and 44 million with the mixed population. So black and something else. So 42 million that way, and then an additional 2 million will be 44 million with the mix. So,
okay, so what is this saying? It's saying
1.2 trillion, 44 million people, and we are at the level of, name the 4. First of all, say what you're going to say. Did you find the actual number?
No, I didn't. I didn't find the actual number, but what I was going to say is if you got 2 of those countries, so it's Spain, Russia, Australia, and Mexico. 2 out of 4 of those are, one is 127 million, one is 146 million, and then the other one goes in the 46 million and 44 million. So if you do the ratio in between that, you're looking at about maybe 90 million. If you average all of that out, it's 90-some million people. So if we account for 44 to 46 million people, and we have $1.2 trillion that we're spending from us, and our population is only a third of Russia, a third combined of Russia or Mexico, then we're spending a lot of money.
That's right, we're spending a lot of money, right? And we're at the level $1.2 trillion of a country, Russia, that's going at America. A country, Mexico, that's trying to, because, Mexico is not just called Mexico. You know what the Mexico is called? If you didn't know. The United States of Mexico. That's what it's called. That's what's on the money. I've seen Mexican money, the United States of Mexico. These are places that are trying to go at, and we have 1.2 trillion. So if we ever realize what our real power was, that's why they know it's a problem. And the more they try to bring more people in, we keep on showing that we're valuable because they don't spend. They send their money back to their countries. And they're trying to bring people in to look down on us. All right, people. This has been another great, robust episode of Observations TFR. Did we not drop a lot of information on Truth Thursdays, Race Hustlers? We don't want to be here 25 years from now, 50 years from now, still talking the same thing with these race hustlers in the CBC, with Sheila Jackson Lee talking about reasserting the HR 40 bill just to get research concerning what's best for American blacks. There are organizations outside of the government system. That's why the vaccine is here, by the way, because Trump, being a business person, worked outside of government. It was a government joint venture with private company, with industry, with United States industry to come together to make the vaccine come fast. The United States will draw this out when they have people like ADOS who has drawn up all the facts, have crunched the figures. It's already there. They don't need these think tanks. Just apply this in and let's get to cutting those $6,000 checks a month to American black people for life. People say, oh no, they won't know what to do with the money. For all those who say black people won't know what to do with the money, give me yours then, since obviously you're downing yourself and you wouldn't know what to do. I don't know what to do with it. All right, people, so 1.2 trillion. Boy, I'm behind. It was a billion, but that's the last time I looked. $1.2 trillion. We're Mexico. We're Russia. What's the other two countries?
Australia and Spain.
And Spain. We're those four countries in spending power. Two of those are one trying to be a world power. The other one is a world power. What's that telling you? All right, people. So we close out. This is another great, robust show. This is me. I'm Crazy D. I'm your host with my special guest host, my sister Tanya M. Congress. Don't forget to watch her show, listen to her show on Sundays. Google hashtag You Found the Spot. Click the podcast, and then you can listen to her show right there on the podcast platforms, right? Wow, 1.2 trillion. We will see you tomorrow. It's freaking Fridays, where we look at the crazy stories of the week and me ignoring y'all's new president for the next 4 years. We'll see you tomorrow. Hashtag Observations TFR.
Here's the thing about your movie, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart.
Observations TFR, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday.